All right, so we are on now. So therefore, let me welcome you again. Welcome to this Directors Conference. And then our sole aim is to empower music directors with the right knowledge and right skills. And the main aim, we want to make sure that we empower music directors with the right skills and the wisdom they need to become effective in the area of musical directing. And today is such a great day for me. I'm really honored to have this wonderful guest amongst us. This wonderful guest amongst us. In fact, he's a very incredible man. I really admire so much. And I decided to bring him up here so that he can be a blessing to us also. Okay. So much for joining. I really appreciate those of you who are joined. I see Lily, I see Ella, I see Anna, I see Ben, and I see Eben. God bless you all for joining. And today, our guest is here right now. Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Hope you are doing well.
Yeah, doing very well. Doing very well. How about you?
Yes, sir. Good. Okay, so you have to teach me how to smile. It's only a smile, but I see. So, sir, we are glad to have you today. We are very grateful to have you today in this conference today. We are praying that God will use you to be a blessing to us today and to His glory. So,
Amen.
I think last year I discovered Mike Bsharp last year during the COVID, and he played the song I just played. Me that was it. He played that song. And that was when I got to know. I got to know about him. And then since then, man, I started following him. I'm still looking for his. The only place I'm not following him is Snapchat. And I'm looking for following him on Snapchat. So it's such a great pleasure. It's such a great pleasure, man. So, sir, tell us about how long have you played the piano?
Sorry, can you come again?
How long have you been playing the piano?
For about how long? I can't even keep count. I started playing from. Okay, I started learning from 2003.
Okay.
I started really playing. I was in church from 2006.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Guys, one thing I really love about this our guest is that he has the passion, and I really love people with passion. Because last year during the COVID time, I heard him. He was making an interview, and then he said that he could practice on the piano without sound, and that's boring. Right? That's boring. It's very boring. Sometimes even the sound comes, it's still boring. Sometimes but it's only as well. Like when I listened to him, he said that he could practice. I mean, without the sound, without any sound on the keyboard coming, and I said that wow, it's only a person with passion who can do this. Because if you don't have passion, you'll not be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I really love that passion so much. I really love that passion so much. So guys, help me welcome Mike Bsharp here. God bless you. Come on, show him some love in the comments section. So you're welcome, sir. We are glad to have
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Let me know what you have for us.
Great. So we are looking at the topic for today, understanding auditions as a music director.
Yes.
So we're going to look at who a music director is in the first place. Yeah, I mean, a music director is someone who leads, prepares music groups for. I mean, generally, if you look at the definition for it, it's a director, someone who leads and prepares music groups for performances.
Yes.
You know that they also hold auditions, select music, provide training, ensure the maintenance of all instruments and all that.
Yes.
They also work with bands and choirs and orchestras. It varies. So This time we're looking at mostly the group as a singing group and a church music director.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you go into it, you see um I've made some notes here, so I'll be just taking cues from them. They're also called choir directors, I mean, professional band leaders and all that, administrators, mostly hired by churches to lead the choir, develop the church's music oriented activities. And, the job varies based on the structure of the church department or the singing group in question. And then, mostly involves scheduling, leading choir rehearsals, conducting during performances, and then recruiting new members, as in either singers or band members. Yeah, so if you look at the role of a music director, it's really there's a lot that lays on the head of a music director. One thing you have to highlight is the excellent interpersonal skills. It's a must having an interpersonal skills. I mean, being able to interact with people. And number two, patience. Number three, clarity. And then we can look at the ease of communication, which is necessary to teach well. I mean, if you're a music director and you can't teach well, you can't communicate with people, you are not clear, and you don't have patience. I mean, if you don't have these, with the um, main factor being God fearing, because in this instance we are talking about Christian Christian music, which involves being in the church or singing group. Great, great. So let's look at number one, like conducting. I mean, when the choir is singing, they all look up to you. You are their leader, and if there's any cue, there's anything they're supposed to follow whilst they're on stage, is you they look at. So, I mean, from the conducting, I mean, and then number two, we can look at the singing techniques. I mean, we can look at how they handle mics, how they sing, how the notes, the rhythm, the breath control, everything is you. Uh-huh. And then you also have to have, I mean, at least an idea of uh, playing an musical instrument. Even if you don't play, you must really know how to. And then I think it has to do. I've seen some of the music directors in Ghana who are, I mean, doing very well without playing a musical instrument. And they all I speak to them and they all attest to the fact that not playing musical instruments is kind of a hindrance to them. Sometimes you want to do something, then you are having little knowledge about or no knowledge at all about a musical instrument. It really sets you back. So that's too. It's something to look at, and then harmony, knowing how to harmonize, knowing how to harmonize is also really important. I mean, you could hear the melody of a song, and then straight away the harmony that comes on top and the harmony that goes beneath the melody. Good. And then with composition too, look at composition. Composing a song, you have to also be versed in that side too. You have to know how to compose. And then teaching. I mean, that's the main thing. You being a music director, you're supposed to impart knowledge to the rest of the team. And then the leadership qualities. Every music director has to have the leadership qualities. It's really, really important. It's a must. Some people are born leaders. Some people learn and go for. I mean, they learn how to lead people. I mean, something that you have to acquire to be able to do this work. Yeah, that's that's what I'll speak about. I'll throw more light onto that. I'm just trying to touch on who a music director is, and then we'll also look at auditioning. I mean, let's take the definition from Oxford. It's an interview for a role as a singer, actor, dancer, musician. I mean, that consists of a practical demonstration of the candidate's suitability and skill. So it means for a music director to hold an audition, it means the music director is trying to get or recruit a new member, and then you have to now pay attention to the person's practical demonstration on that particular day. So today, I mean, the topic understanding auditioning for a music director, there are a lot of things to look out for. I'll break it down into two. The vocal side and then the band side. Because that's what makes up the team, a choir. You have a set of instrumentalists, which are the musicians, and then the vocalists. So I'll start with the vocal. Yeah, great. So for the vocal requirements, what as a music director you need to look out for is number one, the stage presence or audience communication. So if we are going to look into that, see, this is based on how the singer, appears. I mean, your general appearance. Sometimes you hear the saying, you are addressed how you dress.
Yes.
Yeah. So how you appear in public is really important. So, number one, that under the stage presence and the audience communication, you have how you dress, how you use the stage, you are given, your movements on the stage. I mean, sometimes you feel once person gets onto the audition panel, and then he sees the panelists in front of him, and then with the lights and camera and everything, the person freezes, and then you realize the person will just be, fumbling, and then even might forget lyrics and all that. So it's really important. Even in performance, you have to make use of the stage. You can diction. Diction has to do with the way you pronounce your words. From what I've written here, we can look at the question asks is, can I understand the words you are singing out? If I have trouble understanding the lyrics of the song, then there's something wrong with the diction. It can be due to a poor, vocal technique, or perhaps the singer is singing in a language that is not, understood, not maybe in their local language. So, for instance, in Ghana, you have some people singing in English to an audience that don't understand English at all. So it means the communication is not really there. So we look at the diction, we look at the microphone technique, how you hold the mic. You might hold the mic. Let me try and get that. No need. You can hold the mic, and the mic will be facing somewhere else. You'll be singing your heart out, and then no one will be hearing you. So you need to know how to handle a mic. Yeah, that is really, really important. Okay, so we look at number 3, which is the intonation. Of course, this seems like at the first glance whether you are singing in tune. In reality, it's always that easy to tell. For example, if you might be singing perfectly in tune, like 99% of the time, but you might go slightly off tune. One, depending on the pitch, whether low or high. Sometimes some people, their low ranges are not that good. Once they come low, they go off a tune, or once they go high. So it depends. So these are all something to also look for. And then we can look at number 4. We can look at the vocal quality. Every individual in their vocal quality, right? So with even the panelists, as a music director, you need to have assistants, you need to have some people with you. I mean, you can't do the judging alone when it comes to auditions. You need to have an assistant or at least one person with you. So sometimes, I mean, the vocal quality, it depends on the person. Everybody has a unique vocal quality. We take, for instance, someone like, Benny Sofe. Once you hear her voice, you know this is Benny Sofe. If you hear Becky Bonnie has an incredibly deep voice. Once you hear, you know that's Becky Bonnie, and it's exceptional. So you can't. Everybody has a unique vocal quality, so you can't have uh, just monotonous, monotonous idea of how you want everyone to sound like. You need to be broad as you dealing with a choir, dealing with a group or a church choir, because you have tenor, you have alto, you have soprano, and have bass also in there. So you need to look at a wider range. Some people have, I mean, husky voices like Kimbarel. Kimbarel sings really fantastic, world class singer, has a husky voice. Someone might appear at an audition and will have the same husky voice, depending on the music director and what he or she is looking for. So once you're able to determine that, you should look beyond that husky voice and then look at the voice quality. Also really important. Number 5, we look at the rhythmic interpretation. I mean, that's one aspect a lot of singers do. Yes, rhythmic interpretation.
Okay.
How a singer, how a vocalist interprets rhythm.
Okay.
I mean, looking at different types of music. I mean, Latin music, there's rock, there's jazz, there's contemporary gospel. There's a lot. There's reggae, there's Afro pop, there's the high life. All has rhythmic qualities. So looking at that, a vocalist is supposed to approach a song. Number one, okay, you're a vocalist, so you're singing a melody, and then you have to also pay attention to the rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if the rhythm feels rushed or too draggy, then it means something is not right. So you need to find the right balance.
Yes.
For example, you'll be singing Brighter Day, like by Kirk Franklin, and then you are not paying attention to the rhythm. Once you guys come together and you're singing as a group, you wouldn't feel the crispiness of the, for example, when you say, when I close my eyes and think of you, like, if you are singing it, when I close my eyes and think of you, it's a lot to say within that short time. So if you are not on rhythm, on time, I mean, singing with the rest of them, it will be really, really funny. Yeah. So rhythm is something vocalists need to also pay attention to. And then the number 6, we look at dynamics.
Okay.
In music, the concept of dynamics traditionally refers to intensity of the grade of, I mean, volume, either loud or soft, right? Okay. So we have used the dynamics as the criteria, a slightly different and more, purposeful approach. So every performance has its lows and ups. So you can't start a song like a worship, like slow, like a ballad song, and then you start blasting out. So it has to have dynamics. You start a bit in that tone, depending on what the pianist or whoever is starting playing with you is playing. Be really in tune with the person playing. Know when to sing soft, know when to belt out, to sing out really loud. Yeah. So that's looking at the dynamics. It's also an important part to look out for. And then number 7, we look at song choice. Look at the song choice. Coming for an audition, what singers need to look out for is the song choice. You might be given 1 minute to do your performance to assess your qualities. So choosing of a song is really important. You can have a song that has a verse as long as a minute. So once you're done singing the verse, there's no time left to sing out the chorus. So at least you need to balance. The song choice is really important. So as a music director hosting an audition, you need to pay attention to the song choice of the person too. So you can always advise the person to change the song to suit the time the person has, or and then even the key choice, the choice of key for that particular song might not. You might take the original key the person did it in, but both of you have different vocal ranges. Also looking at the arrangement of the song, I mean how it goes. It has to be in your head. You have to know how the song goes from which section to the next. You don't sing the verse and then you are now thinking of whether you're going to the bridge. As a vocalist, the other thing you have to also pay attention to is harmony. So how well you are able to harmonize. So for instance, you have people come for auditions and then they will select about 3 of you to come stand, and then they'll give you a song. They'll ask the alto to do the melody of the song, and then now they tell the tenor and soprano to harmonize. So the person starts, singing like then the next line, tenor is asked to harmonize, and then soprano too is asked to also harmonize. So being a singer, you have to think quick on your feet. There's no room for I'm now going to think, oh, which harmony. That's why learning an instrument is really, really important. It's really important, even for a vocalist. It helps. So so it starts with do 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 ti re. So okay, okay, so tenor, you're supposed to harmonize lower. So harmony with the soprano, you're supposed to harmonize on the top. So if the harmonies, the main melody is on the do 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 ti re, you can start from there. Mi re, mi re. So something like. So harmony, being able to harmonize, on the spot is really, really important. Really important as a choir. That's the beauty of being singing in a group, singing in a choir. All it's harmony. So once you are able to harmonize, then you are on the right ground. Let's look at so we've gone through how many points? We've gone through 8 points. The stage number 1 was stage presence, is audience communication. We looked at the diction, we looked at the intonation, we looked at the vocal quality, the rhythmic interpretation, the dynamics, the song choice, and then we looked at harmony. So now let's look at the band. Let's look at the band side with the instrumentalist.
Okay.
With the instrumentalist, it's really, really, really dicey. Someone might go and learn a particular song and kill it at home. Even the same even applies to the vocalist. Okay, well, the difference between that and the vocalist is that if the vocalist, your body is your instrument. So your instrument is living inside of you. So like you have like 1 week to go to the audition, go and learn a song, do all that you can. What your vocal ability will be able to do on that day is what it will do. You can't do extra. So with the instrumentalist, they can go and learn a particular song, learn a particular song, and then come and kill at the audition. And then now a person joins,
Mhm.
and then you find out, oh, this guy, yeah, he really because this guy
Okowi
doesn't
Baba.
really know how
Okowi
to play.
Baba. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so looking
Mhm.
at that, I mean, with the instrumentalists, as a music
Oh,
director, you need to understand the role of every band member, from the
okay.
drum to the
Okay.
bass
Okay.
to the lead guitar to the keyboard to the horns section,
Hmm.
even to the percussionist too.
Okay.
It's a whole lot. I mean, we can have a 5-member band,
Yeah.
and then the person who is in charge of the band, which is the band head, band leader, do they can come up with loops, can come up with
Mhm.
stems to fill in the spaces that's in the music. For instance, if it's a 5-member band, you have the bassist, we have the lead guitarist, the drummer.
Mhm.
If you say keyboardist, okay, so let's say the two keyboardists, and there's no percussionist, there's no horns player, there's no
Mhm.
horn section. You have to find a way to work out stems.
Mhm.
If I say stems, I mean there are other parts of the song that cannot be played live,
Mhm.
but will be pre-recorded and played on that day for the rest of the band to play on. So the
Mhm.
music sounds fuller.
Mhm.
So you can create a loop with the shakers, add some congas, add some bells, add some, synthesizers, add the horn section. So
Mhm.
now when you are playing live, you don't feel empty when it gets to the point where there's supposed to be some horns playing
Mhm.
there. You've already
Mhm.
done that in the stems. So once you're playing on top, and then you are good to go.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now now make the music director need to understand the role of every musician. So
Okay.
taking it from the drummer.
Mhm.
So the drummer is supposed to be the timekeeper, right?
Okay. Okay.
He's supposed to keep the rhythm,
Okay.
keep the groove, make sure everybody is following a steady beat. If it's a 4/4, we play 1, 2, 3, 4, and he has to have a personal metronome or
Yeah.
click with him wherever he goes
Yeah.
for performance. So this is something you look out for when when having an audition. So you have a drummer walks in and it's a drum set. The drummer
Mhm.
is supposed to the drummer is supposed to, even without the metronome,
Mhm.
know how to play a steady beat
Okay.
for a period of time and not either increase the tempo or reduce it.
Okay.
So this comes with a lot of practice with the metronome, with the
Okay.
click track.
Okay.
So the role of the drummer in the band is to keep
The
the
rhythm.
rhythm side, yes, very, very, very tight for
Yes.
everybody to follow. Yeah. So even on stage for performance, for example, if we are going from the verse to the chorus. I mean, the last two bars of the verse. Once you start opening your hi hats, okay, you're getting ready to go to the chorus or
Mhm.
something. So a lot of the cues too can come from the drummer because he is holding the time. And
Okay.
I mean, some of the roles he will make initiates or introduces a section of the song. I mean, we're going from part A to part B. A role or an element added to the drum suggests we are moving to another part of the song. Yeah. So drummers also play an important role with the rhythm section. Now we come to the bass player.
Mhm.
See, the bass player is like a tree with like a tree with it's shallow roots. I mean, it will fall.
Okay.
The tree will definitely fall. Every tree needs the solid roots to, I mean, get into the ground to hold the tree really well. I mean, the bass player is like the roots. He holds the root notes.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Song is based on a 1-4-5 progression. 1-4-5 is do fa so with the sofa names. So if the bassist is supposed to be playing do fa so, and then the bassist is playing do to z. I mean, he destroys the whole music.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So he's supposed to make sure he's keeping the roots. And then I hear a lot of people saying um, the bassist has to keep it locked in with the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with being not being a dynamic person, that statement makes sense. But looking at it from another angle too, I would like to go with the the bassist has to be dancing with the drummer.
Okay.
So, because especially if I explain it, it's like the bassist is just following the kick, the bass kick of the
Yeah,
drum,
yeah, yes,
like
yes.
boom. So everything he plays, boom, 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 with the kick, boom, boom, boom. And sometimes it's always that you listen to a lot of world class produced songs, and it's not just locking in with the drummer, but you need to flow also.
Is that why
The bassist also has.
is that why the drummer is always the business is always placed close to the drummer most times?
Yes, yeah, most of
The
the
drummer
time,
is
if you watch
very
live performance,
yes.
yes,
The business
you
is not
find
far
out
away
the
from the drummer,
it's not far
but
away
the
from the
pianist
drama.
can be very far
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
And
can be very far away. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, it really counts. The bassist and the drummer, yeah, they communicate a lot. So it's important for the bassist to, you know, be in touch with the drummer once in a while to establish the rhythmic and the roots of the song. Yeah, so for the bassist, you will have to look at another part of it is how the choice of notes and the note placements. I mean, someone can be a bassist. You see, my brother is a bassist, and
okay,
thank God for his life. He really made me like I can say God really used him to make me
hmm,
the musician I am now. Because
okay,
when I was starting, the encouragement, the pushing me,
hmm.
downloading stuff from the internet,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
bringing
yeah,
it to me
yeah. I
at
remember.
home for me to practice. Yeah, I know that. I mean, it's very instrumental. So I mean, and he's a bassist and a
Hmm,
guitarist too. So I mean, playing with him as a bassist, he has taught me a lot, a lot. And then you know, bassist is not all about just playing the roots notes. You need to understand harmony. You need to understand
hmm,
chords. You need to understand the song structure. You know when to play what,
hmm,
right? So you find a lot of bassists now doing a lot of substitutions. If I
hmm,
say substitutions, you find a bassist, if the song is supposed to be on the one, on the do, on the tonic, you find them substituting it with a mi or a la, that's a 1 or a 6, or even a flat 7, which is the tone.
yeah.
So I mean, you need to understand the particular chord the pianist, the melodic instruments are playing. So if you understand the type of chord he's using, then you can know what note to substitute the one with.
Yes, yes.
So basis is not all about just holding down the lows and all that. You need to have a broader introspect. Let's now move to the guitars, as in the lead guitar or the acoustic guitar. You know, even with there's difference between playing the lead guitar, the
Mm-hmm,
electric guitar, and then playing the acoustic.
mm-hmm.
Some people in Ghana think if you are playing acoustic guitar, then you haven't reached there, you're supposed to graduate from playing the acoustic to playing the lead electric guitar. I mean, my brother was telling me recently, someone asked him, "Oh, when you go graduate to the lead guitar, before you play the acoustic, I know go come lead." I say they all have their place. The acoustic guitarist is supposed to, I mean, he has a specific role. Sometimes he has to be rhythmic.
Okay.
If you look at some of the fast songs, some of the fast tempo songs, you have the lead guitar. If I mimic with my mouth, you find out the lead guitar and sorry, the acoustic guitar is playing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's almost like there's no particular pitch. It's just we are hearing the rhythmic strum.
Yeah.
And then you find some of the other songs like you have to strum a certain way. So everybody has their place, and then for some parts of the song too, you find the acoustic guitarist playing melodious notes, playing the melodies, yeah, instead of doing the strumming and all the picking. And coming to the lead guitarist, the electric guitar, you find out the electric guitar. I mean, in Ghana, it's been reduced to only using distortion. If you find the electric guitarist, you see the person with the pedal, the foot pedal.
Yeah.
And then once he sits down, it just switches to the distortion. When they're just playing solos all along. Yeah, throughout the music. Yeah, it's not everybody has the role. Sometimes when the vocalist or the lead vocalist is singing, and you find him also, I mean, playing the same melody with the lead vocalist. That's you are competing with the lead vocalist, and you are not communicating the right thing to the audience. So the guitarist the lead guitarist also has his place, has to somewhere. So you find out the lead guitarist it has to be the one of the most dynamic when it comes to the band, playing the role in the band. He has to know when to be rhythmic, when to be melodious, and when to use chords, when to comp, when to chuck. I mean, at a certain point, you have to be rhythmic. Some points you have to pick out your chords. Some points you have to solo. When there's an interlude, they give you the space. Okay, so lead guitar, take over. And then you switch to your distortion. Then you're playing. Sometimes it's not even necessary. Sometimes it's not needed to even switch to the distortion. You can use the clean guitar to even achieve what you're looking for, to play your solo. So the lead guitarist and the acoustic guitar, they all have a place in the band. And as a music director, you need to know all this before you host an audition. So when a guitarist walks into an audition and you give the person a certain song to play, okay, so I'm giving you this song, play as a lead guitarist or play as an acoustic guitarist in the song. And let's see how you're going to perform. And so with that being said, I should be done with the guitar side. Now to the keyboard side. I mean, there's the pianist, there's the organist, there's the aux keys, the synthesizers. Now each of them have a specific role. Sometimes it varies. It varies.
Yeah.
And so looking at the pianist mostly holds down the chords for the songs, and then when there are spaces in between, you can find the pianist playing some melodious lines in between there, some legs, and then coming back. I mean, with all the instruments, rhythm is really important, even with the piano.
Yes.
There are some particular songs. I mean, if you look at our local songs, the high life, Oh yeah, so if you're not rhythmic when you
Yes.
play, you can't really play.
Mm.
You can't really approach the song the way it's supposed to be
Yeah.
approached. So even with a pianist, you look at your rhythm, you look at your harmony. A singer can be singing. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, you have to find a way to harmonize that.
Mhm.
So you need to find a way to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a vocalist is singing, you know when to play on the high registers to make it the dynamics come softer, and you know when
Look
to
familiar?
change
A long day of teaching, followed by hours of reading.
and all that a particular time. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so okay, let me move to the synth, the auxiliary players. They have to deal with the pads,
Okay.
strings, and the synths, bells, and all that extra tones in case there's the absence of a horns player or even an organist. He has to fill in. So
Yeah.
you find out the synth player has a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Has a lot of work to do in supporting the pianist. Yeah,
Mhm.
he has to know when to use the pads to hold down to give the whole song a bass
Mhm.
for the piano to rest on. You
Mhm.
know when to use the strings and then move like an orchestra playing.
Mhm.
You know when to use an organ.
Mhm.
You know when to use the bells, the synth, the small spaces, or if it's arrangement syncopations,
Mhm.
what tone
Mhm.
to you have to really know all these before player. I mean an aux player.
Mhm.
And then we look at the organist. Organist, I mean that's the we look at for in Ghana, you find the B3, the Hammond B3 commonly used here, but in the American churches and all that, you find someone who is dedicated to just the Hammond B3,
Mhm.
the organ
Okay.
pedal. Of course, they have a foot pedal for volume, is it volume expression pedal. So you find playing, and it's required. I mean, you use your bassist already, so you can't you can't do your bass whilst there's the full band playing. Yeah, insist and playing with the band. That
Mhm.
is really also important. So you look at the person's approach to the particular music when he's playing alone and when he's playing with the band.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. So everybody has the role to play. Keyboard is playing alone. You need to be filling the spaces, almost all the spaces to make the song full. But when you're playing a band, you notice you have other melodic instruments. You have guitars. You might have a saxophonist. So, I mean, not all the spaces. You don't have to fill all the spaces. You have to communicate and know when to fill where. You leave some for the other melodic instruments to also do that.
Okay.
Yes. So looking at from the band side, that's what the music director has to
Yeah.
pay attention
Yes.
to host
Yes.
an audition. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So basically, that should be it. I mean, it consists of the band and the vocalist. So once I've touched on that,
Mhm.
I should be almost done.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So looking at that, since we are in the spiritual side of things, you have to also pay attention to the spirituality of the rest of the members. I mean, with the band and the singers too.
Okay.
It's really, really important because you are, as a human beings, you are spirits, and spirits communicate with one another. If you're on stage and you have not really prepared yourself spiritually before being on stage, you can't communicate, you can't force, you can't manufacture something on stage and then expect the people to be in tune with you. You have to really prepare yourself. So that's something you can see the singing department, the music department, I should say, lacks because you find them spending a lot of time practicing with their instruments, or if it's a singer, learning songs, learning vocal techniques and all that, but it forgets the important aspects of it. We are not doing it to perform, but we are doing it in worship and praise to our Maker, who is our audience. So you have to lead the people, sitting our people in the congregation to worship with you to your one and only audience, which is God. So we have to really pay attention to that too and prepare spiritually before we approach everything we do. Even before practicing your instrument, you sit down, you pray to God. I'm about to practice. You give me the wisdom and they know how to approach this and everything. So everything is supposed to be approached spiritually, since we are Christians. Thank you.
So before we go for the break, guys, let's know if you are learning something. Let's just know in the comments if Mike Bsharp is being a blessing to you. Just type in the comment section. Let's hear from you. I see some of your guys are giving you pressure here.
Yeah, I see. I'm seeing.
So before we go, when we come back from the break, then we take questions and then we wrap it up. But the other thing I want us to, I really want to touch about is if you are going to do an audition, I mean the spiritual aspect, what should you be looking for? What are some of the things, the spiritual aspect of the person should be looking for? How do you measure the person's spirituality or something? Because like for the singing, you can tell that if the person's like the person is able to stay on key and doesn't flatter, and then maybe you can tell the person is able, like the person has confidence, you can see it. But this thing that has to do with I mean, um, I mean, spiritual something. How do you gauge the spirituality of a singer, a person coming for audition as a music director, and or what are you looking at? Or what is your target? If you are, because these things that you've given us a lot of stuff to look for if you are going to audition for the singers and both the instrumentalists, and they are great. They are great. It all has to do with the skill, preparing yourself, and but if you are going to, you mentioned that the spiritual aspect is not left out. So I want you to give us some things that we should look
Light
for.
on that. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. So the Bible says, "By their fruits you shall know them." Right. So you can't you can't fake it.
Okay.
With the spiritual aspect, I don't think you will be able to determine that on that particular day, like using one day to know whether this thing is spiritual, this person is spiritually inclined or not. But one thing you can do as a music director is to pray to God before the auditions to lead you, pick the right person, because you might pick someone who is vocally good and has all the qualities, but the spiritual part may be lacking. So that's why you are there to, as a leader, to help the person. If once the person is willing and is going to commit. And one thing I didn't also talk about is commitment from both sides. We have to look at the commitment aspect. There are
From
certain
both sides of the
questions you have to ask the
instrumentalists
person.
and this. Okay.
Yes, instrumentalists and vocals. Commitment is really important. You have to have a, let me say, a form.
Okay.
It will sound like, oh, you are making everything formal, but you have to have a form for the person to fill, stating rules. There are rules. I mean, everybody, every governing body, every society has a set of rules that guides them. We Christians have the Bible, so in every Christian society, wherever you find yourself as a choir, we have rules and regulations. There are levels of commitment. For if we look at a singing group, are you looking to do the music full time? You're looking to do it part time. All those things you have to fill the form and make sure we are on the same page. You've signed. So if you are in the group now and then you're doing something different from what you signed for, then you have either you be on probation for a period of time to assess your commitment levels as into what you signed for, so we know whether to retain you or to let you go. So with the spiritual aspect, as you being a leader, God can lead, God can let you make some decisions sometimes you wouldn't understand. You might pick someone who you can see has the potential, but has not really got there yet, but the person is spiritually more inclined than the other person. You might pick someone not based on their vocal qualities, or their skill on the instrument or something, but God will allow you to lead the person, guide the person through the spiritual parts, and then help the person grow more. But some people might come not having spiritual experiences and all that. So you as a leader, you have to know how to go about it. So praying to God, God will reveal to you. Yeah.
So, I was listening to one day I read something from, I think, is it from Hillsong or Elevation, one of the big this thing, and they were doing audition. And guess what they were looking for? Their first requirement they were looking for. Their first this thing they were looking for was leadership skill. They were looking for a music director. They were looking to hire a music director, and the first thing they were looking for was leadership skill. And now it's kind of, man, what is this? Because I mean, you're looking for music director. I thought you look for someone who can do production. I mean, someone who can score all the harmony, someone who can play a piano. Because like we are in a season that like if you are a music director here, in fact, you need to go learn about production. I mean, playing an instrument, because these days the things is changing. The culture of the church is changing, and then technology is coming in, and we need to learn how to use all this in. So they were looking for a leadership skill, and I was kind of like, because they said that before you are the music director's position is a leadership role. And then he added that we have, sorry, I forgot to record it. And so we have people who, who are so skillful but poor in character. They are very poor in character and that stuff. So they look at the skill, the a passion before everything else. So that was great. So if you have anything to throw on that too, then I'll take questions from the audience.
I think same too. That is what makes the person. So you might have a very skillful person who is really able to do everything. I mean, production, do everything. But if the person doesn't have a good character, I mean, it's bad. I mean, they say power without character is demonic.
Yes. I mean, like like if you are teaching your choir pass and they are not getting it, and you get angry, you visit that and you get angry there, because you say sing this one, and they sing
this,
sing
and you're not
la, sing
getting.
la, do. You know, if you don't have that kind of, you mentioned teachable ability. You mentioned that teachable ability. You know, means that we need to have that kind of teachable ability to teach, ability to teach. It's very, very necessary. It's very, very necessary.
Very necessary.
Yes.
Very necessary. Yeah, with the passion too. Passion is everything.
Yes,
Passion, character. Yeah, someone is saying you just remember the belt incident. I mean, I had a friend who was teaching, and then it was teaching a particular part. I mean, the person wasn't getting the part well, so he had to pull out a belt to chase the person in there.
This is
Sometimes it gets so frustrating. I mean,
yes.
as a music director, it can be so frustrating because what the thing is that you teach, and then the person will go home, won't revise, come back with the same thing. You keep on teaching the same thing, so it's like you're just going back.
Yes.
Just going backwards, and sometimes it gets annoying, but you have to be able to. Yeah, that's where the character comes in. You are able to control your emotions. And
thank you so much, guys. I want to thank you all for joining. God bless you, and I really love your support, and I appreciate your support for this conference. Thank you for always joining, and then please go and follow Mike Bsharp, follow Music Directors Conference on Instagram, and everywhere. And please, let's keep the bond together. We believe that we can go together. When together we are better. So let's just join such platforms, and let's invite our friends. Music Directors Conference is there to help you become your best. So thank you so much, everybody. I really love you and appreciate you. So thanks to thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, and thank you to everyone who also joined in. I appreciate.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. God bless you all.
All right. So, all right. Bye. Thank you all. See you.
Okay.
Bye. Me, that was